Hello everybody and welcome to Portimao for round 7 and 8 of the T6 Porsche 992 GT3 Championship. We've come to the south of Portugal as we close in on half distance. It is a fitting setting and a very warm location, I've got to say as well, for rounds 7 and 8 of our championship. No, Darragh Thacker with you this afternoon. Myself, Ian O'Leary, taking you through the action. A couple of 25-minute races in these extremely popular machines coming up for you this evening. I much hope that you will enjoy it here at the Grand Prix circuit that has hosted the Formula One a couple of times now, and indeed is going to provide the entertainment for us this afternoon as well. As I mentioned, we're around the halfway point in the championship now. 4 rounds will be complete. 4 circuits rather after this one, and 4 rounds still to come, and so these championship standings getting ever more important. Darragh is leading the way by 12 points right now ahead of Darragh Thacker. Then it's Tobias Hoffmann another few points further back. Then it gets a little bit tighter actually from third place on down. Callum Cripps and Alessandro Cappa round out the top 5. Outside the top 5 we've got a bit of a jump back to Chris Grevitt with Johan Kurjan 7th place, another Brabham Motorsport driver rather. Cal Graf is in 8th of Alex O'Grady, and Sebastian Hertas rounding out the top 10 in the field so far in the championship standings. As I mentioned, it's getting ever more important as we go through the season. This is track number 4 of our season. Let's have a look at it. Portimao, the Algarve circuit here in the south of Portugal. Just under 3 miles, 4.5 kilometres round here, and it is Sebastian Hertas who is currently 10th place in the championship, as we've just seen, currently with the best lap, the track record in T6 competition. Here are some of the action areas as well. Down at Lagos, turn 3 is a big braking zone, but the best overtaking opportunity on the lap, I think, is down at turn 5, Tora Vip. Turn 8 is a difficult corner, especially on your own there through Samsung. You're turning and braking at the same time through turn 7 and 8, really. And same goes at turn 10 and 11 up at Portimao. It's really at the top of the hill where the rises and falls, the elevation change really comes to the fore at this circuit. No weather to really worry about here today. If anything, the warmness of the weather is what they've got to be worried about. Not a cloud in the sky this afternoon for either of our races. That is going to drive tyre temperatures up, and perhaps not in a way that these drivers will particularly fancy either. Qualifying is just underway. We've got 4 minutes left of it, and Callum Cripps has currently got the best lap time. Tokarev is also pretty close, just 18 thousandths away from that pole time right now, but more importantly is ahead of Darragh at the moment by without even a lap time yet in 14th place. This is Johan Kurjan though, who's going quick, especially in the middle sector here. Currently down in 15th because he hasn't got a time, but he jumps immediately up to 3rd place. He is half a tenth away from Callum Cripps at the moment. This is Darragh himself. 2 personal bests, but they would be, because he's not got anything to mark himself against so far. A championship leader has got to at least stay near Tokarev, who is only 12 points behind him coming into today's race. It is turning into a bit of a 2-horse race. Having said that, difficult to say that with certainty, considering we've got such a long way to go in this championship still. Darragh, though, up to the top, and what a time it is. Just 1,000ths quicker than Callum Cripps. Goodness me, it is a close session. When you consider just how long this circuit is for these cars, that is very impressive indeed. Alessandro Cappa is coming through the final corners right now, but he has had enough. Hoffmann is 3rd in the standings right now, but only 9th in this qualifying session for Brabham Motorsport. He needs to improve from here, and indeed jumps back to pit lane as well. So it looks like anybody who is actually improving is in pit lane right now. No, I was out on the circuit with a realistic competition with that late lap time there by just 1,000th of a second. Fantastic moment that would be for the championship leader. He's a very experienced sim racer these days. Darragh won the Digital Endurance Championship 5 years ago now, I think it was, season 12. And took part in Le Mans Virtual, GT Pro, all these kind of things. This is very much his area of expertise, if you like, the GT racing, of which this can very much be counted a part of. As I mentioned before, these cars are very popular in RF2, at least in my experience anyway. They sound great, of course, as we've already noted, spoken about. They handle pretty well as well, and it's great to have everybody here for the halfway stage of our championship as Sebastian Hertz now comes through the final corners. He has got the track record around this circuit. It is in the 43s, and so that's going to be under threat here tonight by the looks of it. Is he going to threaten himself as he comes up towards the line? That rise up towards the start finish line, it's only 6th. Oh, he's only a 10th away, but it's 6th place. This is fantastic at the moment. Francesco Carvalho goes into 11th. He can't get anywhere further. This is an extremely close session here in the 992 Cup Cars. And there's still a minute to go. Still time for the likes of Chris Grevitt maybe to improve from there. Currently in the 6th place in the Drivers' Championship. Best round so far came at Monza in the previous round, just 14 days ago. As he now makes his way over the top of the hill, the elevation change, a real big fixture of this circuit. Quite a lumpy part of the world actually down here in Portugal. Not a flat country at all. It's difficult to find any places where you'd have a flat racetrack. I think the Algarve circuit certainly making use of the natural curvature around to make a challenging racetrack out of it. This is one of those points as well. Can't really see where you're going through the final corner until you're absolutely there. And then you've got this rise to the line as well, which doesn't really matter too much, but it's pretty spectacular. Grevitt does improve as well. He goes up to 6th place. Fraser Hart has had a decent qualifying so far and is only 600ths away from Vajra. And there could be some late lap times coming in here because Callum Cripps is also going fastest in the first sector. Although immediately overtaken by Vajra, this is going to be a very exciting end to this session. Fraser Hart up towards the line here. As I mentioned before, less than a 10th away initially. Now goes to the pole. What a fantastic time. 43.7. And the others will have to respond. Vajra, Cripps, Tokarev and Kurjan are all on lap times right now, and they are all going quicker than what they have previously managed. They're also all covered by only less than a 10th of a second. Fantastic qualifying session so far to start the evening off. As Cripps now makes his way down the hill, not improving in the middle sector. Locks up as well. Doesn't need these tyres again after all, and so locks them up down in towards turn 13. Then Sagres turn 14. He's sliding through here as well. Surely this is going to be the end of a decent run from Callum Cripps. He's going to push on, which suggests that he might be improving nevertheless. But surely this can't be pole. If it is, it's got a big chance of being knocked off by someone else here. As Callum Cripps now comes towards the line, he pulls to the pit wall actually, and he won't improve. Out of the final corner now for Johan Kurjan as well. He's got a purple middle sector after his first sector was bested. He's slowing down towards the line. It doesn't look like he will improve. Johan Kurjan's going to stay in 5th place. Vajra goes to the top just as that was happening. Well, that's an extraordinary lap time. He's half a second quicker than the rest, but what about Tokarev? He goes quicker. What a dramatic end to this session. A 43.1, and Vlad Tokarev has taken pole here surely. Chris Grevitt is the last one to maybe have a say about that, but he goes into 6th place. And it's a battle between Vlad Tokarev and Sido Vajra that ends with the man's 2nd place in our Drivers' Championship on the pole by a 10th and a half ahead of Sido Vajra. Then it is Fraser Hart, Callum Cripps and Johan Kurjan. 4 Brabhams in the top 5, but not on pole. Chris Grevitt's just outside that top 5. Alessandro Cappa, Sebastian Hertz and Tobias Hoffmann are all within the top 9. And within a second of pole, therefore, as well. And Karl Graf is in 10th. Francisco Carvalho is 1.6 seconds behind. And then the gaps get a bit bigger. Danny Oliver, Paulo Messina, Alan Axon, Nicholas Barrell, Samuel Newhouse and William Snowden. The only driver not to set a time, Snowden, in fact, down at the bottom end of the field. Session that was of twists and turns. The pole position was going everywhere, all which ways there, but in the end, it is Vlad Tokarev who takes the pole position. He's been behind Sido Vajra in the championship every step of the way so far. Current gap being just 12 points. Gap's never been that large, but after the first race of the season, he was 4 points behind after coming 2nd. So it is great for him to get one back there, and now it's going to be about converting in the race. We've got a warm-up session just in the meantime, and then we will be underway for racing again at 25 minutes with a formation lap added into the fray as well. By the way, the T6 track record may have just gone as well. Sebastian Hertz's previous best, as we saw at the start of the day, was 1:43.4. I'm not sure whether qualifying laps count towards track records or whether race laps only do. Racetracks in the wheel world seem to change their mind about that quite regularly. I'll get some confirmation on that, but that is two, especially for Vaya and for Tokarev at the top end. That is two of the very quickest lap times we've ever seen around this circuit. Extraordinary lap times, and great end to that session as well. They've certainly shown themselves as well to be two of the fastest by some distance compared to the others. At the end of the session, I know it was very close throughout, but by the end of the session the gap was actually quite large between them and the rest of the field, which might have surprised a few. Certainly surprised me to see in the early part of that session, but there you go. There's a relatively large gap, and they will surely be battling it out here in race number one, that's for sure. Later on, in case you've not seen this before, we're going to have a reverse grid race 2. Now, we don't know how many are going to be reversed yet. We'll spin the wheel and let you know how many positions are going to be reversed. It's between 6 and 12. And so that is not even known by the drivers as they're going. It's the best thing, to be honest. Normally when you get reverse grids, or sometimes I should say, when you get reverse grids and you know what position it is for from the very beginning, you do get a bit of a bit of aggression that maybe we could do without. And so them not knowing before the very end of the race, I think is probably a good thing. And it also means that you can get the reverse grid in, and you can have a bit of excitement in the second race as well, which I'm sure it will be. So far this season, it's been where Tokarev has actually had the advantage in race 2 so far this season. He scored one more point, 36 points, to Sido Vajat at 35. And that's where he's been making up the time, but unfortunately on every occasion in race 1 he's lost out on points, so he needs to start making a gain. And as I think I said earlier on, I'm not sure this championship is really coming down to a 2-horse race just yet. It's not even halfway through, but it's clear to see that they are two of the quickest drivers in the field, and that is very much a feature of this race, will be indeed of this race. So then, drivers just getting themselves onto the grid, ready for the opening race of the day. Tokarev and Vaya on the front row as we get underway. 25 minutes of racing initially here, and then another 25 to come in that reverse grid race a little bit later on. The driver's just gridding up now, getting onto racing surface, but not the front two just yet. Now they will do. Can everybody wait just a little bit longer before we get underway here? There's Tokarev just on the grid slightly before his main championship rival alongside him, with the nicer run in towards turn 1 as well. It's worth noting there, the inside line. But actually walking these cars away from the line is maybe what they'll have to contend with in a few moments' time as they start for the formation lap. Tokarev and Vaya putting away from the rest of the field initially. Into turn number 1. Avoiding that curb on the inside line, so you don't go too wide either. It's one of our action points. It's more difficult in terms of action points for this race. It's more difficult in terms of just driving on your own through here, to be honest. The actual overtaking opportunities, I think, are quite few and far between, but we did highlight the main one, which is down towards Torovit in the hill braking zone. Turn 5, here it is. Steeply downhill. A very good chance to get an overtake in there as well. Let's have a look then as they're making their way through the start at the formation lap at the starting grid for this opening race of the day. Tokarev has taken pole at the Sidovaya, or Brabham row 2, with Frater Hart and Callum Cripps right in behind their championship leading teammate. It's Johan Kerjan to round out 4 Brabhams in the top 5, with Chris Grebet just alongside Alessandro Caput and Sebastian Hertzes, who held the track record coming into today. start 7th and 8th. Tobias Hoffmann and Karl Graf are on the last row of the top 10. Francesco Caravallo and Danny Oliver are on row 6. 13th place is Carlo Messina, and the gaps did get a little bit larger back here. Alan Axon was next, Nicholas Burrell and Samuel Newhouse rounded up those who set times. William Snowden didn't set a time towards the back end there, unfortunately for him. So he'll be starting at the very end of the field. Pretty quick formation that, to be honest, from Tokarev. Getting the tyres up to temperature here. Time for the race start. I imagine that's going to be too much of a problem for too long in this race, though. It is pretty warm out there. Rusty conditions for this round of the championship. But, you wouldn't expect much else in the south of Portugal in April. These tyres are going to have to be managed over the course of the race because of that, and because of the twisty nature of this circuit as well. To the grid then, these drivers get themselves into position. As I mentioned before, walking these cars off the line is going to be the big factor here, and that's not necessarily the fact that Vajra is on the inside line there. It is about getting that good launch off the start, and if Tokarev does that, then he'll be able to take his own line towards turn 1 without moving at all. The final drivers will be pulling into position now, and the red lights will be coming on very soon here, and here we go. T6 Porsche 992 GT3 Championship ready for lift-off here at Portimao, and it is a good start from the front row. Not a good start there at all from Callum Cripps, who goes backwards from 4th place here. Tokarev with a decent enough start, and he's going to be able to close out Vajra as he enjoys know what he is. He breaks very late though, he's off in towards turn 1, very wide. Now he nearly went in the gravel in fact there through the opening corner of the racetrack. Vajra will pull into line just in behind him. Hart, who stays in 3rd place. Jan Kurjan's up to 4th. Callum Cripps is down to 10th. What a disaster of a start for him. Now he comes down the straight as Kurjan. I think we'll look for a move in the inside of Hart, but can't quite do that one. Cripps in the background, looks like he's going 3 wide there. Out on the brakes in towards turn 5. The big overtaking chance down here, and Cripps did indeed go around the outside. He got up to 9th at least. At front, Tokarev leads ahead of Vajra, Hart and Kurjan. The opening minute of this race, lively. But for the top 3, it's a retention of the position. Jan Kurjan getting off to a very good start here, and he's forcing his teammate into a defence now. Fraser Hart on the inside line, just through turn 10 and 11, slides a little bit wide, and back down the other side of the hill. Kurjan won't quite get the run this time around. It's actually very hard to get down the inside down here at turn 13. There's a little bit of a look there from Grevin. And again, Kurjan this time, who is just looking at the inside. Again, the front 2 seem to be getting away pretty quickly, and that might happen, to be honest, based on the qualifying positions, the qualifying times rather. What is happening here early on in this race by the looks of it, as they now come down the straight again. Kurjan the one on the defensive actually from Grevin, who is the one with the speed now at the final corner. In towards turn 1, he'll be on the outside line. It's a long way round there, and so he'll have to tuck back in. Oh, lock up there from Kurjan. And surely Grevin will be having a look down the inside at turn 2 and turn 3. No. As soon as you put pressure on one driver up in front of you, the pressure heaped upon you, and that will be apparent to Grevin as well now, as Alessandro Capper closes in. Hoffmann as well in 7th place. On a single file line down towards the bottom of the hill there, turn 5. The impact on there on the grass bank as well. Into the best overtaking opportunity on the lap. One of the more difficult corners to drive on your own through there, to be honest. Vajra, meanwhile, has just got a little bit closer to Tokarev here. He was actually side by side for a moment, but not quite. Just looking for a way through, just probing for. Tokarev has got to sustain the pressure. This is going to be a long race of sustaining pressure if indeed it is going to be like that. This is high-stakes stuff here, and it will be the first time that Tokarev has finished ahead of Vajra in race 1 on an evening. Even though he's had couple of ups himself, Vajra has always been in front. Meanwhile, this is down for 12th place. Oliver holding off Francesco Carvalho. An accident. Carlo Messina. And I guess Nicolas Barrel is also here on the back end. You can see Newhouse, who's just off the back right now. Through on all of them, by the way, is William Snowden, who's up to 11th, and this is Caravello rather, defending in towards turn 1. And there's a yellow flag up ahead here. There's a car off just in front of them here, and it is Hoffman. Max Hoffman has gone off at turn 1. And unfortunately, his difficult opening races of an evening is continuing. He's never finished better in race 1 than he has in race 2 this season. And he's still stuck in the wall down at the first corner. He's 3rd place in the championship as well. That's what I was saying about a 2-horse race earlier. Well, I'm afraid it's proving even more true for Hoffman right now, who returns back to the pit lane. Even at the very maximum reverse grid, he will not be benefiting from that. It's going to be a big job for him to get through the field in time for the second race. Indeed, when we get to the second race, it's going to be very difficult as well. This is Callum Cripps, we're just following here. Place, driving Esport. Motorsport. Apologies, I keep doing that. Motorsport. Sebastian Hertz is just him in front, and Cripps, Alessandro Cappa rather, dark green rather than the dark blue, defending off quite nicely. Hertz maybe has a bit more race pace than he did for qualifying speed. Maybe underperformed in qualifying compared to what we would have expected in the past because of his track record here, or lap record I should say. Now only 7th for him. It's only 12th for Caravello, but it might be 10th if Snowden and Oliver trip over each other there. Was that Caravello? Yeah, it was actually going side by side with Oliver rather, and here comes Messina, I think, side by side on the inside line here. Caravello is going to be the one on the defensive rather, and there's a lot of in the background. Goodness me, that was Axon, I think. Very nearly running straight into the back of both of them as he locked up. Still side by side, still doesn't know where to go. Caravello is overtaken by Messina, who slides a bit, but Messina's through. No, it's 12th place from Messina, and a bit wide to go with it through turn 4. That's the battle for 6th place again. Very much going to get away, and quickly as well. Continue on like this. Down the other side of the hill and towards the long right-hander. That's a look from Hertus. Just a peek. He trips back in again. He was having a bit of a look through 13. I said earlier that it's a hard place to go through, and it is, but not as impossible as I thought it might be. Just another look that time. Just not got the exit there for turn 14 really, although he did have a peek again. No ABS on these cars, of course. It is more about driver skill than I would say even GT3 racing is, with the assist that they are aided with, especially in the braking. And Hertus use that braking performance in towards turn 1 for a move here maybe. Certainly Appa feels under threat. He moves it over towards turn 1, which is a little bit uncommon considering it's such a high speed corner. Hertus though goes for the cutback inside of turn 2. It's a bit of a squeeze as well. Now he's going to have to commit to this. Down the inside for turn 3. Overtaking chance through there for the first time this afternoon as they run side by side up the hill as well. Quite respectful racing room given between the two of them, and it's actually a good run from Capper on the next straight there. But Hertus switches one start again. Right crisscross moving towards turn 5. Just on a very tight line though, and Capper around the outside. Going to go straight back through. An exciting battle doesn't result in anything meaningful, unfortunately, for Sebastian Hertus. Just to stay in 7th position. Behind, by the way, Newhouse has been off the road somewhere. So the yellow flag's out. Here comes Hertus again. Oh, side-to-side contact this time. And that's going to push him wide there. Capper has to go wide, and Hurst looked like he lifted up there just to let him have that one back again. And now he's on the defensive. It's Kappa. Through goes Callum Cripps. Play to Sebastian Hurtis, but almost giving that one up immediately there. Didn't feel that it was particularly fair for him to make that contact and go through. It seemed that there was an awful lot wrong with it, really. Just the things that are difficult to avoid on a relatively narrow track when you're trying to make a move like that. It can be difficult to not make side-to-side contact. There's smoke coming up out here from somebody. What's going on here? Well, let's keep an eye on that as Cripps gets close. Turn 3 again. No, not this time. Oh, that's late on the brakes though. No, he's got it caught up in time. Not good. Kappa is going wide there. As I mentioned before, you can get the braking right in these cars and you're on your way. It's Cripps versus Hurtis. Look down the inside, another chance goes begging. Actually, Cripps goes wide. Here comes Hurtis. Oh, not throwing it inside, there you go. Up front, Okorev leads by a second and a half now. A very important points game, as it would be, in the championship. He hasn't got the fastest lap at the moment, but it's got the all-important race lead. He's been race 1 for the first time this season, maybe. Keeping on board with Cripps, just have a look in the mirror there on the top right. Keep an eye on it. Oh my word, there's a big slide there. One thing, if you don't like oversteer, then you're not going to enjoy this car very much. Rear biased, so rear biased because of the engine, which the Porsche so often traditionally have had. This is more rear biased, I suppose. They are a tendency to maybe require some opposite lock here and there, these Porsches. This Kappa is still smoking, by the way. Really know what's going on there. It's been a while since I've seen some innocuous smoke like that in R2, I've got to be honest. Unless somebody's had a big crash and then the whole car's on fire. Obviously that's an exception. I've seen that. And it is slightly odd, and it's not happening in the braking zones either, which just make it look like an engine. Anyway. Oh, Cripps there, nearly hit by Hurtis, and again, Darragh there, very nearly hit by into Hurtis as well. But maybe from overheating, I'm hearing. It's only guess as well. Next question will be, how long is it going to take until it blows completely? In that case, what a great sight, and it is the only driver doing it as well. I almost feel more comfortable if everybody was smoking. Feel more worried on his behalf. He's the only one. Here, over the hill again, Cripps and Hurtis absolutely nose to tail here. So we approach half distance in race 1 at Portimao. Hurtis is going from left to right, but no. Can't go down the inside. Graff and Snowden are just in behind. Snowden's had a fantastic race so far, by the way. Hope for his sake that the reverse grid does incorporate him, because there are many situations, in fact it's more likely that it doesn't than it does for him right now, but I hope that he'll be involved in it. Oh no! That's side-to-side contact for Hurtis and Cripps. Hurtis trying to get down the inside there, and you can tell he was getting more desperate. And the contact is made, Cripps goes around with him. Well, that one's going to be looked at afterwards, but Cripps is going to be feeling very bitter about that. Goodness me. Big moment for this race. Hurtis, contact with Cripps. Cripps, by the way, will move up ahead of Hoffman as it stands, but now he's dropped down. Kappa might move ahead of both of them in the driver's standings. We'll see, of course, a bit later. Here's Grevitt towards turn 5. He's the next closest to a driver in front of him. Jan Kurjo was so threatening on the back of Fraser Hart earlier that he thought he'd stay with him, but right now. You are fairly well separated. Pausing here because there's still yellow flags. Thomas Messina now has dropped back to pit lane. And maybe we've got our second retirement of the race. which would be unfortunate, but may be accurate at this stage. It's 11.5 minutes to go. We're not far away from spinning the wheel and finding out what the reverse grid is going to be. If you're not familiar, it's any position from 6th place to 12th will be put on pole here. And everybody, obviously, in the meantime, is going to be reversed as well. Three drivers now down pit lane as Alan Axon is down. It's back to the back end of the field. For some reason the yellow flags are still out anyway. Like Corral maybe with the incident this time round. A couple of them starting to creep in now as we're 10-15 minutes into this race. And there's another! Chris Crevitt gets the braking all wrong in towards turn 3, and of all the incidents we've seen so far, that is the quickest recovery. He will keep 5th place, but he's hot in his mouth after that one. Well, Tito Budget continues to try it a bit closer to Tokarev. Now it's proving to be big up. These two may well be slightly right alongside each other in race 2 as well. We'll see about that a little bit later. Livingston, meanwhile, is in 8th place. A fantastic run through the field it's been from him so far in race number 1. Coming from the very back end of the field. Place, you'd imagine now, he all of a sudden has got himself into a position of more likely to be benefiting from the reverse grid than not. Mainly, of course, because of Hurtis and Cripps taking each other off earlier. There's Tokarev, meanwhile. There's still 6 laps to go here. It's just quite a long way for Tokarev to manage things here in the opening race of the day. The race coming up a little bit later will also be 25 minutes here by the wall. The gaps are not getting large. I mean, looking at right through the field, especially top 8 of those drivers who haven't had problems so far, all small gaps. Of right now, he's going to gain some of those points back again. Could reduce this championship lead by about a third. Sounds like a lot, but actually it's only a few points here and there, and that is because it is so close in the current championship standings. Race 2 is where this is really going to be won and lost, because so far he has been better than Barger through the field and being a better second race result. Crevitt has also moved up throughout this race. He's up 1. All these guys have only made it 1 place because of Cripps today. Oh, there's a big slide. You can tell they're pushing. Just didn't get off to a very good start at all, and it's only got worse from there. There is by it this season so far. 2 race wins to his name. Only Spa so far is the only track he hasn't won at this season. He's going to add Portimao to that list as well. As I mentioned before, it's been race 1s where Varjo has been prevailing. Alex O'Grady took the opening win at Spa. Unfortunately, that was the last time he scored points of any description in this championship, and he's here again in the T6992 series. Well, those two as race winners have also been joined by Callum Cripps, who won the second race at Sebring. I'm missing actually in Spa, didn't go to either of those rounds. Going Kurjan. Has won as well. was in the second race at Spa as well. So off place for him right now, but he has been higher, as we've spoken about. He's actually getting a bit closer to Fraser Hart as well, as the pressure's come from behind, or been alleviated rather behind, with Grevitt 2 seconds behind. He is now homing into the interview of Fraser Hart. Well, side by side between Oliver and Hurtis. So Sebastian Hurtis is trying to get himself back through the field again, in towards 9th position. See the gap really opening out to the top 8 now, and it's partly down to this. I'd imagine Hurtis is quicker than Danny Oliver based on their qualifying performance, and maybe even what they've shown in the race so far as well, but that is confirmation. He's going to be through into 9th for him. Now then, it's time to spin the wheel for the reverse grid. Race number 2 at the T6992 Championship here from Portimao. But the reverse grid will encompass the top 11 in this race. It's not going to be a particular battle for top 11, but how heartbreaking for Callum Cripps to just miss out there. It's been an incident of his own doing, a downfall of his own doing, and that is why he's down there at the back end. But I think it's slightly harsh on him, really. He's going to miss out here on a reverse grid. Bit of a shame for him. William Snowden is on the back of Graf here, in towards turn 5. Snowden gained another place here. As I mentioned before, he really did deserve to get up towards the front with a reverse grid here. He massively has increased his chances of doing that with his overtakes he's made here, but now it's almost confirmed as long as he doesn't have an incident. In fact, he's so far forward he might actually go backwards because of the reverse grid, but at least he's involved there. Maybe with the speed he's shown, starting ahead of a lot of the drivers who might be quicker than him. Maybe race 2 is going to be his. The top of the hill there, turns 10 and 11. And has a look through 13. Well, it's brave down there, as we've spoken about before, and there's a slight pinch at the tyres as well. As they close in on 3 laps to go, Snowden is looking for a way through here. He's just actually forced Rahl a little bit wide there. And Snowden is going to get right up the rear end of that one now. Here we go in towards the final corner. Nice, a tighter line as well. This is going to be a nice late apex from Rahl. It looks like it is. And that Porsche, so a chance towards turn 1 for Snowden. You wouldn't expect there to be either. Very, very fast right-hander with not much overtaking chance. On board we go now in towards turns 2 and 3. Have a look at the wheel work here. Listen to the engine sound. Such an enjoyable car to ride on board with here, and try and watch someone working their way past in this high-stakes game of chess that is going on between these two. A decent run from Snowden out of turn 5, but he's not going to go anywhere with that. He needs to think about when and where he is going to go for it, because he is running out of time very much in this race. It'll be turn 8. Difficult set of corners, as we've talked about. It's off slightly around turn 9 for a shake down the inside at 10 and 11, but no. Is it going to be 13 again like it was last lap? A little bit of opposite lock there out of the corner now through turn 12. Now then, he is closing quickly and immediately. Well, I was aware of it there. You could see him moving it over, so Snowden has very much been sussed out here. Oh, he's having another look down the inside of the penultimate corner. The problem when you spend too long behind someone, they learn your traits and your desired overtaking chances. They start to defend accordingly as well. Out of the final corner now then. And Snowden is going to have a chance in towards turn 1 here, surely. Maybe not. He goes backwards here. Snowden cannot find his way past. Meanwhile, yellow flag is out. Only a brief one. sure who maybe went around, but doesn't seem that particularly mattered. It wasn't any of the front guys by the looks of it. On the hill and in towards turn 5, and not close enough in the traditional places. He just is very strong through the final sector, which is a bit bizarre. Well, it's not bizarre that he'd be quicker through there, but the fact that he's creating so many chances there and not anywhere else is the puzzling part. Turn 8 here, looking for another run. For one of his best results of the season so far, you reckon he could get it here. He has a clean race too. He's actually forced Grant into a mistake there now as well, so here we go. Outside line through turn 12. Sort of backs away from that there. Well, he's a little bit bizarre. Through the final corner, by the way, comes Tokarev to the final lap of the race. Through the final corner. Again, Snowden close, but seems to quite have the run on the straight really here. Watching this gap go up here. 2 temps coming on, 3 temps already now. Before they get to the start finish line. 4 temps as well. Snowden struggling a little bit, straight line speed wise. Even in the slipstream of Grau just in front of him, so this could be a very difficult overtake to make now on the last lap, but he's going to throw everything at it. Down the inside, very late on the brakes. Well, facilitates it slightly. That's a great overtake from Snowden down the inside. Now he's not going to have a very good run to the next straight, and that's immediately going to give a chance to respond now for Grau. In towards turn 5 for 7th place. Snowden backs away. It's a very wide line. It's a bit weird. He's going to go for a late apex, different line for sure, but whether he was going to through there, not sure. Anyway, Tokarev is going to be very, very pleased with the start to his evening. Normally, he starts his evenings by losing a few points to Sidovaya before gaining some of them back. Well, he has started today, finishing up ahead. Fantastic drive from Tokarev. Got the pole position in dramatic circumstances with a late lap time as well. He's going to take the victory here by 2.5 seconds over Sidovaya in 2nd place. Tokarev comes out the final corner. A win in race 1 for the very first time. And takes some points out of Sidovaya, who finishes 2nd. Fraser Hart was really closed in on by Johan Kurzan at the line there. He manages to get the podium. What about Snowden? Has he got enough to get through here? He's on the outside line, but he's not going to get it. Carl Graf rather, with a great bit of defensive driving. Finishing 7th place ahead of William Snowden. Curtis will be ninth, he'll get the reverse grid, and the final 2 spots in the reverse grid will be battling for here. Callum Cripps is only 10th of a second away, but no, he's not going to get them. And Callum Cripps is going to be starting this 2nd race from 12th. Real damaging one for a driver who had the chance to move into the top 3 in the standings here with this race, with Hoffman down in 17th. This is Nicolas Barral, meanwhile. Through the final corners for him right now as well. 13th and 14th for these two. Newhouse just in behind. Too much to play for, neither in the way of points, nor indeed in the way of the first grid antics either. Even the biggest of reverse grids couldn't have saved them this time round. Well, that's race 1 complete in that case. Let's have a look at the race results as Vlad Tokarev takes the victory ahead of Sidovaya. His Hart was put under quite a lot of pressure by his teammate at the end, but still finishes 3rd at Chris Grevitt, who made that small error in towards turn 3 and still recovered from it. Alessandro Cappa did a lot of defending throughout that race and finished 6th. As did Carl Graf in the final few moments, William Snowden finishing just in behind him. Sebastian Hurtus and Danny Oliver round out the top 10. Francesco Caravello and Callum Cripps were next, and it's Cripps who misses out instead in the reverse grid. Nicolas Barral and Samuel Neuhaus are those who finished. Alan Axon, Colin Messina and Tobias Hoffman all retired from the race before its conclusion. weren't the only drivers to actually come down pit lane, but they did, unfortunately, retire from the race in the end. Oh, that's race 1 complete here in the T6 Porsche 992 GT3 Championship from Portimao. Race 2 will be coming up in a few moments' time as we reverse the top 11 positions, put them all back out onto the racetrack again, and let them go racing for another 25 minutes. Make sure you stay with us. Here we'll be bringing you that race here in a few moments' time. We'll be back in a moment with race number 2. second race win at Sebring as well. So he's definitely got history with the circuit, or with this format rather. But starting from 12th place, you'd be pushed to predict Callum Cripps as a race winner here today, with all respect to him, of course. Maybe about some of the others on the circuit out there tonight. So personally, I'm picking William Snowden. I think he showed great speed in the first race. He's got a great position as well for this second one. Just 4th place is not bad at all. As they now come into the starting procedure, the starting grid. Now almost ready to go. After a relatively slow formation lap, Caravello pulls into position. Pulls a lot further forward actually than Oliver. Just meanwhile is over his line, and he's continuing to go forward here. Oh dear, well, you never like to see this. This is some Tesco car park stuff going on right now as he tries to get himself into the grid box. Well, hopefully the game won't penalise him for that. We'll see though. He's another big pick for this race as well. Got good speed round here. Round 8 of the T6 992 Championship is about to get underway. Look at the bottom out. Caravello on the front row. Looking to get up from good start, but on the other side is Oliver. Just got up to an initial launch, which is just a little bit better. Hurst is on the outside going well as well here. It's free wide in the background. Hurst is just coming on back slightly here. As Snowden gets down his inside, he's made contact, is he there? He made contact with Oliver in towards turn. And that has taken him sideways and him backwards again to 4th place. Back down the inside he goes with Hurst. More contact. Another bit of side to side there for the two of them. Snowden round the outside of turn 4 might well get in the place with a better run on the exit here. In the background, Kersham and Grevin are side by side again here, resuming their battles from earlier on. Not so far. Grevin having a little bit down the inside as turn 5 provides the action on that one again. Get away with it. The bottom of the hill. Still, Hurtis and Snowden absolutely side by side here. And he's wide, Hurtis, very wide. Tucker getting away with that on the opening lap from turn 1 in race 1, well in race 2. It's Hurtis still going wide. And look at Johan Kersham, he's flying through this field. He's done it before in the reverse grid. He's trying to do it again here from further down in the field. From turn 11 and turn 10 just beforehand. Hurtis continues to go backwards. Alessandro Camper, who's just alongside him now, and he can't break through. Grevin tries to follow, can't do it either. Snowden back down the inside meanwhile of Oliver. Look at the gap that Caravello's got as a result of all this, goodness me. In 2 seconds his advantage at the end of lap 1, and Snowden makes up 2 places, probably cost him more time than he would have wanted. Now surely Johan Kersham's going to let Danny Oliver through pretty much, you would have thought. Won't be much resistance put up here. They come down the race straight, there's a bit more defending. Kappa and Grevin again. Side by side it is, just in front of them, there's more side by side. Just down the inside of Kersham. Oh dear, Mason as well, in towards the braking zone. But on the outside, Callum Cripps is up 5 places, goodness me. Up to 7th place already here. A great start from him. In that first race after this. Unfortunately, looks like Burrell is the first retirement of the day. Race 2, and that's a pretty miserable evening for him completed. The battle we're having here. Sidoraya actually is trying to make his way up the field as well. That's Grevin now on his inside through turn 8 and 9. And Tokarev so far has not been able to follow him here. So the gains he made in race 1 could be all washing away here very quickly. Sidoraya is on the outside line and maybe up to 8th place here. Turn 9, he's going to have the inside line, he's going to be through. He's got 2 cars between himself and his main championship rival. Here again are the teammates. Oliver and Kersham. Hurtis coming around the outside and coming through here. Sideline through turn. Oh, that's close. Oh my word! Late on the brakes. And no. Hurtis ahead of Kersham. Then there's contact. Hurtis spins around again. And it's a difficult evening for him as well. 13 very much is undoing. Now Oliver gets out the way of Kershey. I'm not sure why they didn't do that a lap or so ago. Going to do team orders down there at Darragh Motorsport, then fair enough, but not blaming them for it. But they've done with doing it a little bit earlier on in the race, to be honest. It's not the Darragh Motorsport team, by the way, that are leading the championship. It's Hoffman and Via who are part of that team, and they're leading by some distance as well, even on halfway. Sone actually, since we're halfway now. Meanwhile, Newhouse is off, perhaps with Messina as well, as it's side by side for fourth place. Oliver trying to help his teammate as much as possible here by defending it towards turn 5. But down the inside is going to be, contact, well through, but contact. Oliver now dropped behind Callum Cripps, who's all of a sudden up to the top 5, and here comes Fire as well. He's going to be up to, no, not 6, not quite. He really needs to get close to Via here. Here we go, down the hill. And Via, see Via getting himself down the inside and through. You'd imagine in towards turn 10 and 11. Indeed he is, as expected. Grevitt will try and follow. Down the inside at 12, that's a good overtake from him. 13 rather. No, he's been hit though! As Oliver was trying to get a run on the exit, he's running to the back of Grevitt and he spins him round. That is a disaster for Grevitt, who's down to 14th suddenly. We knew I was still running behind him because of these last lap. We've seen it out the race unfortunately as well. We're 5 minutes into this second race. Back into the top 10 is a +7 game, by the way, matched by Callum Cripps so far in this race. Oh, that's quite right from might be. No, excuse me, that's Fire. Oliver, you're right, mention it. It's just in front of Cow Grab, the light blue. And then you've got Tockerev behind, only 2 places gained so far. That's not what Tockerev needed at all. Stay close to Via, and right now he is repositioned behind him. A couple in between. All those gain points from race 1 rapidly go away if he lets it. As I expected, William Snowden is indeed catching up for the race lead now, and indeed giving this race lead shot too. Towards turn 10 and 11. Down the other side of the hill for turn 12, and Snowden is going for the lead. Late braking down the inside and through. That was fairly easy in the end. The speed just far too much. William Snowden is up into the lead of this race. What a drive he's done so far. He will have challenges. Johan Kerjan is coming up pretty quickly here. He is in 3rd place. Imagine he'll dispatch of Caravello pretty quickly, or he'll try to. At that stage, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what will happen down here? Hoffman's just in front of Hart and Axon. Or rather, Hart is going side by side with Hoffman, I should say. Axon is just a second or so further behind. It's Tockerev who's just in front, and he'll be pleased these two are battling. Hoffman down the inside, he could be back inside the top 10 here. They were running inside the top 5 at a stage today, but see Hoffman finished a long way down. Imagine they could put this one a bit better together than they are right now, and they could start to pick them off as a duo rather than a fight, which they're ensuing at the moment. Hertus is back onto the group as well here, by the way, as we go back up to 2nd place. Said that Kerjan was going to dispatch him pretty quickly here, and he has done. Oh, that's close. Nearly side-to-side contact. Johan Kerjan is through on Caravello. The only problem for him is going to be that Snowden has been able to get a second and a bit in the meantime, so that will need dealing with. This is Sidovaya, meanwhile, just in behind Callum Cripps and Sone Capra as well. It's been a good recovery by in race 2. Top 11 were reversed, by the way, in case you weren't with us earlier. I started 10th after finishing race 1 in 2nd. This could be a very good result indeed for him. The first time at Monza, by the way, in the last round, I actually finished ahead of Tokarev in a second race of an evening. So has that started a bit of a trend here? He has lost out in race 1 for the first time here today, but he's at least ahead in this race. 3 positions as well, and it could be more. A couple of drivers have been in front of him here who will fancy if he'll be able to get past before the end. Arabella's not that far ahead either right now. He could be caught before the finish. Sone and Kurjad will be up front, I think, on their own. So if they fight between themselves, then maybe. Very much like they will have a fight between themselves before the end as well. He's on board with fire. Turn 9, watching the different lines being taken here by Callum Cripps, who bounces over the inside curve there. Avai pulls back on the late apex, bit of a slide. Means a nice run through turn 12 and a chance to fire down the inside here. There you go. Oh, was there contact there maybe? Cripps getting to the back of Kappa, I'm not sure. Did benefit from it in any case, so he'll get away with that. Looked like that might have been a slight misjudgment there from the driver in second place in this race. Well, take a look at this. 7th. Oliver doing an almighty job of holding everybody back right now, but it could come to an end pretty quickly here. Tokarev on the inside line. Oh, there's contact! Goodness me, 3 wide. Callum Crowley is going to go through on all of them here on the inside line. Oliver doing a magnificent job right now to just keep Tokarev behind. Rafai will be loving this. Also with someone down his inside now in towards turn of 1 who get around the outside of Graf, and that will be sorted. So Tokarev up into 8th place. Karl Graf now down to 9th, and he could well see a freight train now. Hoffman is right behind, Fraser Hart as well. Curtis. And now Tokarev's putting all the pressure onto Oliver again. 8 on the brakes, lock up on the brakes. And Oliver there is going to be pushed wide. There's contact slightly. Tokarev come through on the inside line. 7th place for him now. And that was a good bit of driving. Under high pressure through there. Slides. Gets away with it. Hart and Hurtus also side by side. With a bad run, Hart is going to be overtaken by Axon. Not quite. What a lively race we're seeing here. We're almost already halfway through, would you believe it? Side by side again at the top of the hill. This is really allowing Tokarev to get through and away, and that will be very pleasing to him. Oliver defending now from Karl Graf. Right round the outside there in the light blue, and he's going to get back through into 8th place. Oliver still on the outside line. Oh, Hoffman, high cap, narrow, breathe in, but no, he won't get through. And now Hurts is trying to do the same maybe, inside line into 10th. It's a battle that will not rest. It's exactly what you get in Porsche Cup racing, whatever iteration and version it has been in the past and indeed the present or the future. Once one battle starts to kick off, others join the fight, and it all just gets very exciting. As you can see here, great racing so far here at Portimao, especially in race 2. As I said, you just need that thing to spark things off a little bit. You've got a right race on your hands after that. We've got a proper race in our hands this afternoon. It's an almighty battle for 7th place on backwards up, maybe even 9th now. They've got a few getting away. Tokarev's probably away, excuse me. Graf is the one who's to be edging away now. It's the only others really who will be really getting involved. Grevitt is down in 14th. They've got a long way behind him before anybody else joins them. quarter of a minute to Burrell. So, excuse me, to Newhouse rather. There were not too much worth worrying about there. Meanwhile, side by side for Herters again, and no chance again. Or has he stayed alongside here this time? He's just kept his nose alongside, and what's going to happen here? Inside line at turn 13, he's muscled his way past Oliver. Hoffman will now try and do the same maybe. Not going to get any niceties there at all from Oliver. Hoffman just trying to rescue his point situation with a poor race one. And Fraser Hart will try and come through as well. Forget that Fraser Hart was on the podium in the opening race. Struggling to really do anything this time round. This, meanwhile, is a battle for third place. Appa's just got past Caravello. He's doing a good job, but he's just not quite as quick as some of these guys. Tinevaya is right next in line with 10 minutes to go. If things stay as they are, then it certainly now, as Vaya gets down the inside, he will be gaining points on Tokarev on the evening as a whole. I do believe, if my maths is not mistaken. Well, it could be. Callum Cripps follows through on Caravello. Cripps is up to 5th, so a fantastic second race from him. Done it earlier, but I'll say it again, he will be ruining that opening race, that's for sure. But it's just got a little bit quieter in the final 10 minutes in this group, but still plenty of drivers getting involved. Exactly what we come here to see. I hope you're all enjoying it as well. Battle between Oliver, Hoffman, Hart and Grevitt. In a smaller group than before, but a no less interesting one. Hoffman will go for the cutback, switch back line maybe. On Oliver. It is. It's not quite an ideal way of getting through. Instead, maybe final corner. Some facts about Cripps, by the way. Mentioned his couple of wins earlier this season. Not going to add to that so far. Hoffman in the top 5 4 occasions, but neither of those are going to be. That's not going to be added to here either. In either of the races today. In fact, he's going to even scrape a top 10 as it stands. Currently in 11th place. Sorry, he has finished outside the top 10 yet this season, actually. Till tonight. It might happen twice if he's not careful. It's Cripps. 2 race wins, 2 in race 2 as well. Going at Sebring and Monza. Have a chance to go a bit better, by the way, in the next round, which is in another 2 weeks' time. Every interval is 2 weeks between this these races in this series, so I need to tell you that. But in 2 weeks we'll be at the Bahrain circuit. I think a great addition to RF2, by the way, and I think these cars will run quite well around there as well. It's a very underrated racing circuit, Bahrain, in my opinion. Meanwhile, look over the other side of the hill and in towards turn 10 and 11 again here. Hoffman. Oh, it's a look down the inside and it's going to be contact! Goodness me, he was all up over the curb there and in the gravel. Not because he drove there on purpose particularly, but I think there was just contact that put him there. Oliver in the other Porsche. Here, meanwhile, trying to punish him for his error. It's Hart, but Grevitt goes round all of them. Oh, and he spins Hart! Grevitt gets on the power too early. Lips the rear end of Fraser Hart and he goes around. More drama in this battle for 10th place that will not rest, and there's going to be yet more. Tobias Hoffman this time, one to go around, and he's just about going to be aboard by Axon, who suddenly moves up to 11th place in all of that. Well, an extraordinary battle, an extraordinary conclusion to it as well down the back end of the field. Maybe not the ending we were hoping for there, but high drama. Towards the back end of this race. Final 7 minutes to go now. Sidovaya will want a podium. He's had so much success so far this season. hasn't been on the podium every race, but for him to get there in race 2 of an evening would be a first, and big success for him as well. Delight. Meanwhile, is his main rival actually, Thacker in 7th position, looking for any way in which he can just limit the damage here in race 2. At least break even on the day, not lose any further points to Darragh. Mentioned so far in each meeting, he has lost out. Lost 2 points at Sebring. Broke even at Spa. Lost 10 at last race. Here comes Ryan, looking for his first race 2 podium. And this is his best chance yet in towards turn when he's through. Kappa did all he could to defend. But Darragh goes through. And onto the podium he goes now. Callum Cripps is going to look for a way past. Best opportunity to strike is immediately. Thacker knows that as well with Francesco Caravello. He at least gets up to 6th place. The roles very much reversed this week. Thacker getting a win in race 1, limiting the damage in race 2. That's normally what Darragh does. He's done twice in a couple of rounds so far. This time Vai's back on the podium, and it might just be in his favour. He's certainly going to still be in the championship lead by the end of the day, and we've seen a lot of their other closer rivals have not had quite as good days. Tobias Hoffmann, he could have 2 results outside the top 10 for the first time this season. Callum Cripps has recovered quite well in race 2, but finished race 1 down in 12th place. Alessandro Kappa, decent race for him I suppose, and he'll be up to 3rd in the standings I think, but not gaining anything really on the front 2 and making this a 3-horse race. In fact, he's going to have a big job holding back Cripps himself here. Oh, there's a look down the inside, and oh wow, big save from Cripps. Good save. As they come on to 3 laps to go, he will have further opportunities, but the fact is, just had to do that won't be, well, he won't be delighted. Here he comes again though, front straight. Kappa defends. Cripps goes even further to the inside. That's a really tight line for such a fast corner. They're going to end up off the road here. Oh my word, how's Cripps even stayed on the road himself there? He's given the space to Kappa, who had to go off. And he has lost the place. Oh, although Cripps didn't get a very good run out of 3. He will run up the outside at 4, and that will do it for him. 8 places gained on the day for Callum Cripps. On the race, that is, and that's going to be the most of anyone. Very pleased indeed with that. Not with race 1. That will gain some of the points back on Kappa than what he lost in the opening race of the day as well. But up just 1. So he finished race 1 in 5th as well, didn't he? So it's going to be 2 5ths for him, and Cripps is going to lose out in points as a result. Might not lose his position actually, now I think about it. But anyway, not too much. Still got a very long way to go. Of course, anyone inside the top 5 may receive prize money in this series. Going to be one to focus on, especially down the bottom end of the top 5. It's wide open there at the moment for those other prize-winning places. The championship battle is still hanging in the balance, and it's going to be one we continue to focus on. But it is wide open further down. I mean, this round is one of those who could get involved as well. Johan Kersens had a pretty decent day. At 7th. Really 43 points off the championship lead, but only 14 off the 5th place. With over half the season to go before tonight. It was certainly a possibility. Graf looks like he's caught Caravello now, who was on pole after finishing 11th, and I think he's done a decent job of holding back the onslaught from a lot of the other drivers here coming through, and see where he finishes in the end, but I think a top 10 would be a success considering where he started. Always difficult to hold so many drivers back. They are quicker than you. We saw that in qualifying. We saw it in the first race, and it's no surprise it's happening here. Like misses the apex there. Who's that in front of them? It's a lapped car by the looks of it. Getting out the way. The graph won't mind that, and or indeed be focusing too much on that here. He's got a good run down the other side of the hill, down at turn 9. He's not going down the inside at 10 and 11. For 7th is one that you can see, unlike a lot of the others for Caravello, where I thought, well, there's too long in the race really to go for him to hold on for this long. And you don't think that at this stage. There's only seconds to go. The final lap will be shown to the leaders who are coming through here. William Snowden is going to take the top finish line with more than enough seconds to go here. He will start one last lap. Would be a great win for him. Become another different winner in our series. 2 different winners tonight. 2 new ones to add to our list already. Cedar via Callum Cripps taking 4 of the 6 we've had already. Down to Johan Kurjan and Alex O'Grady taking race wins. And we'll have 6 in 8 races by the end of tonight. That's even if Snowden hangs on for this one. With just about half a second in hand. Oh, and there could be a late gain here for Tokarev. No, thought there was going to be a spin there from Kappa. But Tokarev is just going to run out of time, I think, here, rather frustratingly for him. He's going to finish 3 positions behind Sidovaya. Only 6th place in race number 2. Can he do anything in these final corners? Can Graf do anything as well? We've seen the urgency with which he's been applying the pressure here, but that's because there is so little time remaining. That's the lock-up. Caravello just bring it back to somewhere near the apex just in time. Graf will get that little bit closer. Meanwhile, William Snowden has survived the pressure really well here. Great drive through the field in race 1 to put himself in a position to do this in race 2, but still has overtakes to make and pressure to soak up as well from Johan Kurjan. But William Snowden wins round 8 of the T6 Porsche 992 GT3 Championship. With behind the battles settled, with Tokarev not quite getting into the top 5 and Caravello coming home 7th. I think that's a fantastic result from him, considering the amount of defending he had to do this afternoon. And Oliver was very much in the wars. He will bring home a top 10. A lot of those he fought with, scrapped with so hard, actually ended up behind him over the line there. Of course they're behind him, but by seconds, I mean, of course. Tobias Hoffmann being one of them. A day to forget for him. He will not be 3rd place in the championship as he was coming in here to Portimao tonight. It's William Snowden who wins race 2 after 15 laps, with Johan Kurjan just in behind. Sidovaya joining them on the podium. 2 podiums in one night for him and a continued championship lead. Callum Cripps, finishes 4th out of Alessandro Kappa, with Vlad Tokarev just running outside of the top 5. Francesco Caravello finishes 7th from pole, with Kyle Graf just in behind, couldn't quite get past. Sebastian Hurtis and Danny Oliver round out the top 10. Alan Axon was 11th in number 11. Fraser Hart and Tobias Hoffmann were next in line. Chris Grevitt was 1 lap down, but he did actually get out for the fastest lap at the end. Samuel Newhouse finished 2 laps down, ahead of Nicholas Perel and Carlo Messina, who DNF'd at the end of that one. Well, what a fantastic evening of racing here at Portimao. Thoroughly enjoyable to be here in the T6 Porsche 992 GT3 Championship. The next round will be coming to you from Bahrain. That will be at the first of our races on the second half of the season. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's a really underrated circuit as far as racing goes. In Porsche 992 Cup cars, it is going to be a treat for you. I'll be. I won't be here. You might be pleased to know. Darragh will be back for that one, of course, for the next round of the championship. Still 8 more races to go, rather 4 more rounds of this championship every fortnight here on the channel. We will be bringing you the races all the way until the 1st of June, when we will have our finale. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in tonight, of course, wherever you've been watching. It's been a pleasure to be along here for the first time for myself in this series. So big thanks for having me on that one. A big thanks to the sponsors, of course, as well, Phoenix Sim Racing and Team and Tweaks, for coming on board this season as well in this championship. Once again, thanks to you all for watching, and those behind the scenes as well. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for round 5, coming to you from Bahrain. But from all of us here from Portimao, for now, it's goodbye.